mobile AD carries, your anti Jinx Aphelios, if you will. You know, like a Bastion in Overwatch. You just sit there and fire off bullets. No, not the case here. So there is a lot of, there is this early game playmaking. Again, you see the idea for Red, but similar to last game, the identities are similar, and Pain just, again, like you said, the composition is really, really tough to break through. Weiser could take this Gragas a number of different ways, build-wise. It is his first Gragas game, though, worth pointing out. But Dinketo, this is something that he has played before this Veigar. It didn't get through draft last time. Now on the other side, you see the statistics up there. Everyone undefeated on their picks, except for Aegis, who's 1-1 on the Vi. A little damage here coming on too. Well, damage. Yeah, but that baby cage, I'm glad you pointed that out. That's so tough. Kennen, Vi, right? These are the champions that want to get in and make stuff happen. They are your engage tools for your other 3 squishy members. That is tough with just one extremely strong ability standing in the way.
It definitely is. And I love how you bring up the point about Red being undefeated on these champions by and large. I mean, I'm critical of the draft, but Titan on this Lucian Nami lane with Scamber, this is a comfort pick. This is a comfort matchup. I mean, Red, if you're looking to put your eggs in the Titan basket, which they should be, this is the kind of draft that you want to go for, right? You put your best player on a champion that he wants to play, because at the end of the day, comfort is oftentimes king. So I in that sense, I do like the strategy here coming out from Red. I'm still not sold. I do still think this puts the ball in their court, but maybe this time they'll learn to dribble just a little bit better and push us into a 1-1.
Airy here on the Kennen. That's interesting. From Bull. And a comment on the other side from Weiser. Anything to read into with that area up in the top lane?
I mean, it just says to me that Bull's going to want to bully this matchup, but really surprising that you would do that against a Gragas, a champion that is renowned for his ability to basically just be an immovable object in the top lane, so much sustain in the kit. I'm actually really shocked that we would go for something like the Airy instead of the Phase Rush 4x4.
Yeah, especially, being able to follow up on, right on the back of Aegis as well. You are going to be, again, your primary playmakers with that slicing Maelstrom. Dinketo able to grab himself. Oh, he started tier there. Excuse me. So he's starting the ball rolling really early on here, opting against that damage, and Avenger perfectly fine with that, letting him scale, opting into that Doran shield.
Dinketo knows that this lane is just going to be resident sleeper. Like, you've got two hard scaling mages in the mid lane, or I guess Kassadin's not really a mage, but you get my point, right? Like, they're just going to be chilling. So Dinketo, opting for the tier, just kind of sitting around. Now, I will say, Veigar V2, resident Veigar expert, right, really does not like tier on Veigar. He thinks it delays your power spike for too long. Yeah, he does not like it. He thinks on Veigar you should just be going mythic straight into Rabadons, because by the time you get to the point where you need Void Staff, you don't complete your Rabadons if you went Seraphs, if that makes sense. So you're delaying your power spike, your biggest one, until 4th item. So something to keep our eyes on. Will that matter? We'll see. I do think that this game could go late if the last one was any indication. So it might just work out. But yeah, it's not Veigar V2 certified for all you Veigar fans out there.
And that's not nothing. And I guess part of that, right, is to do with the fact that you do have scaling built into his kit, right, with the overload stacking, right? So, you get some of that, you get that borrowed power, if you will. And especially if Dinketo does go Rod of Ages as well, right? I've seen Seraph's Rod of Ages, the Anivia build, because it's the one mid lane champion that I can be trusted on, and that's pretty much rebuild on her. But like you said, it really does delay that.
Avenger is getting bullied out, though, quite substantially in this lane. Dinketo taking control once again, a similar story to what happened in game number 1. Just going to be able to crash that wave, and now maybe going to base for an early item or just sit around. But, I mean, hey, that tier is stacking up rather quickly. And
yeah, 100 already.
I know. I mean, hey, when you're consistently landing spells on Avenger, not only you're stacking that tier quickly, you're stacking your passive. That's value right there, 4x4.
Yeah, and we'll see, right? He's able to get that crash early. That's, for me, that's what I would have done, right? Is, look, these Qs, they're going to hurt a lot. Or they're going to be annoying, right? And you're taking a bunch of chunks out of Avenger, especially pre-6. So maybe that's it, right? Is saying, look, right now, before Avenger 6, I don't need that extra, whether it's the extra amp tome, right?
And this was something I didn't really bring up in draft, but I mean, look, Kassadin into Veigar is a good matchup for Kassadin. Like, mathematically, it's good. Once Kassadin hits 6, he's going to be able to be fine in the lane and do stuff, right? But I don't really love it with this draft. We're looking at Vi, Lucian, Nami, lots of playmaking on the bottom side, and then such a power vacuum for Kassadin in the mid lane, I'm just not sure I'm sold on this pick. I really need to see how Avenger after 6 is able to start influencing the map.
Yep.
Because as it stands, Titan and Scamber are actually in a really difficult position. Not able to crash the wave and getting chunked out. It's going to give potentially a Dragon over to Karaoke early on. I mean, just a good spot to be in for Pain Gaming. So waiting for level 6 on Kassadin. How can Avenger influence things? There it comes. Riftwalk is online.
Well, and it's exactly what you said, right? That's the big inflection point. Whether it's the same thing with Akali, right? It's a game changer. The mobility that you are able to use, and the threat that you pose. And with the tier bought in right now, and with that Ruby Crystal, that tells you Rod of Ages is coming up. And with the Catalyst of Aeons on the other side, this lane, like you said, as indeed a Resident Sleeper lane. So both these lanes are, they are waiting to the late game. But with Titan and Scamper getting pushed in like this, Aegis and Avenger, they got to make stuff happen, right? Bull's going to be stuck on the top side for forever, right? So the earliest he's going to get involved realistically is that Rift Herald fight.
Yeah, but already we are seeing more early proactivity from Red. They used their earlier reset to start up the Dragon. Now, B-Boy and Damage are on the way. They're not here yet. Avenger, nice chunk onto Dean Kato. Dragon should go over to Red, but let's see about the kills.
Yeah, Avenger is low. Didn't pop the Rift Walk to get out of the baby cage. Just dodge that, dodge the W as well. And Red with that reset, like you said, that was quick and easy.
Yeah, that was excellent. It was a bad base from Titan and Scamber that lost a plate for it. Smileizer just has a little fun with the cast right there. But it was a really bad reset from Titan and Scamber, but they're able to turn the negative into a positive for the team by getting out first on the map and taking Dragon. Now Karaoke potentially caught out.
Man, yeah, and Karaoke caught out. B-Boy in a little bit of trouble here. His exhaust is down. His flash is still up. Held onto it, knew he was probably going to go down. First blood to Scamber, not ideal, but Avenger not done just yet. How about that? He's able to sidestep the damage as well, throws up the Teemo thumbs up. He's feeling good.
Avenger in a 1v3 able to run down Karaoke. And, I mean, look, normally you don't want to see your support get in the first blood, but Scamber deserves it because he found the interrupt with the bubble onto B-Boy's dash. So nicely done. 2 quick kills over to Red in this early game. 4x4, they're already starting to get a hell of a lot more done than game number 1.
Absolutely, and playing around spikes too, right? Like you said, it was a rough reset for Titan and Scamber because they lost that plate, and that's something you never want to do, especially with this lane. But
especially not for free. I mean,
Yeah, well, exactly, right? So it looked so bad, but then they were able to, like you said, turn it into a positive because they come back with a Noon Quiver, whereas B-Boy, he's got the Zerker's Greaves, but he's got kind of nothing else. Let's take a look at how this went down. This is post-Dragon, so that's already been taken care of. And like you said, keep your eye on Scamber.
And you can see what has made Red such a good team throughout the regular season. We've been talking about Pain this whole series, and I think rightfully so, but the way Red is able, that was a nice bubble, right? And the way Red is able to move around as a team, you can see that they do have a really great idea of how to play the map. Turning a negative reset into a positive play, they're able to get out, hit their timers, and then not only do they get the Dragon and not just leave, they stick around expecting Pain to want to retake the river and punish them with some kills. So it's a really, really great play from Red. It's not an insane advantage by any means. It's not insurmountable, but it's a great start.
And you saw how much that meant to Aegis sitting there, right? He knew that kind of like self applause, like let's go. That felt like a bit of a tension release, right? Because it started off rough, but they took a gamble there, right? They said you nailed it. Pain's still going to be here, and they're still going to be on these rough item spikes. We have this slight advantage. We need to go, and that's something they didn't do last game.
Yeah, most certainly. So. Really nicely done. Credit to Red for already getting the ball rolling in the early game. Now, Pain does have control of that bottom side river, so the next play is where it's going to get difficult. What I would want to see Red do, they're bringing members down. I want to see them commit these members to get a reset for their bottom lane and then bring people up to the Herald. Lucian, Nami, Vi, Kennen, these are champions that want to team fight early and often, and around a 10-minute or so Herald is a good time. So let's get this wave in, let's get a rotation off, and let's look for a big play, Red.
That's exactly what they're going to try to do here. It's 3 tiers and a cull for those of you keeping score at home across these 10 players, the 8 that would actually build it. So half that could opt into these sorts of items have opted into a handshaky, let's fight a little bit later sort of item. Lightning Crash for B-Boy used defensively. That's what I was looking for. Titan, though, using that ult willy-nilly and able to not get punished by Karaoke, because that could have ended ugly But instead, with Aegis coming down as well, they're able to keep the pressure up on this lane, force B-Boy into a back with no ultimate here. Maybe they try something here. I don't think they'll die. It feels like biting off a little bit more than you could chew. Well, actually, with Avenger here.
I would be surprised if Red dove. I think Avenger's just coming down to cover. There should just take a plate. And DKdo actually in a little bit of danger. Forced to flash. So Red continuing to apply pressure on this bottom side. Really, really nicely done. Not overcommitting to anything. Simply just making Pain have to respect them. And this first pick, Zeri, I mean, look, B-Boy looked really good on it last game, but it is still a Zeri. When you blind pick that champion, you are taking a risk. Here comes that reset from Red. Let's see where they go out of the base. Aegis and Avenger are around this Herald. Now, Weiser has had control of the top side.
Yeah.
They have got to do a little work. It's not just free for the taking, but they do have members in the area. Scamber and Titan rotating over, and it looks like they're going to press the tempo.
All right. You know what? Fair enough. We laid out the plan for Red. Not that it took, a ton of high, heavy analysis to do that, but Red is executing on it. They're doing exactly what everyone thought they would, and I think what Pain thought they would as well. So it's not like Pain are surprised by what's happening right now, but Red have been really, really efficient in this early game. Again, playing on these spikes, right? Bull has come back, even though he's been kind of getting wallied in lane a little bit. He's got the damage advantage here. Avenger, excuse me. That's the second time I've called Avenger Ranger because I see the R first and then GER at the very end. But that is not him.
It's okay. We've all been there. But Red, they were able to go up top lane. They went and took the Herald. B-Boy was able to trade back a plate and a little bit of farm, so Pain able to keep it somewhat close. But once the Herald goes down, it's just another way to continue forcing the H2. Weiser though.
Whoa, man, this is ugly. Slicing Maelstrom out, gets the mark of the storm, stacks, flash in. Oh my goodness, he missed, and he missed the barrel as well. Oh, it all goes disastrously for Weiser. Bull gets away with it. That is so rough for Weiser, man.
Oof. That's all I gotta say. Weiser, man, that was ugly. I mean, it was a great initial play. Bull clearly not expecting the damage, getting hit by the explosive cask, but the flash auto just didn't kill him, and then he misses everything, dies in the tower, and it all went from bad to worse. Oh, and we're gonna see it again. No, don't do him like this. Okay.
Man.
I mean, yeah, so it was really nicely done, right? Predicts the juke, able to get the explosive cast back, almost had the damage. So at this point, the auto would have killed, but at that point, it would not have. Bull was able to regen, taking 2 tower shots, not able to heal up. It's rough.
Man, that is so tough. I mean, I wouldn't have expected that damage either, right? The only damage items in Weiser's inventory were the Amp Tome and the Doran's Ring, right? Everything else
Dragon
was
says base damage. Like,
yeah,
it's scary.
yeah, no, and that is what you forget, right? And that's what can make this champion so versatile, so powerful. Tidal Wave going out. Will it catch anyone? It will not. Didn't even hit anyone as far as range is concerned. Avenger, he's on that Rod of Ages right now, but so is DKdo on the other side. He's level 11. Avenger, you would have to imagine, is just a hop, skip, and a jump away. Chemtech Dragon up, so we will have either a Cloud, Ocean, or Infernal Soul. Red, again, this was something that we talked about last game. The dragon stacking was something that they weren't able to get. It goes kind of, hand in hand with early game pressure, but we've seen more good things from Red. Their lead is not wild by any stretch of the imagination. Again, it's just one 1,000, one dragon. And now here is that Herald being dropped mid lane. And you see the part of it is because of that statistic right there on your screen. Plate gold up for Red.
They weren't able to get any plate money with the Herald, which is sort of a bummer, but it's a nice chunk off the mid tower, and most importantly, it just gets them pressure on this dragon. They're going to get the second dragon of the game. More advantages that Red wasn't able to get last game, they're getting this time. And I mean, again, yeah, the lead is not huge. It's less than 1,000, but it's just a nice, clean early game that they're playing. And what we primed in draft, right, is Red, they have a mid-game composition, but they don't need to crush the early game. They just need to put themselves in situations where they're able to find mid-game team fights. We've not really seen a big team fight yet. Pain has played very respectfully of that threat, but because their early game has been clean, Pain eventually will be forced to fight, and that will be Red's moment to truly break open the game.
Yeah, no, and they've got to, right, in that mid-game. In the late game, yes, you've got the Cassidon, but the strength of this composition lies in the mid game. And Titan, again, at the center of that. He is not, you're putting eggs in the Titan basket, but he's carrying that basket a little earlier. Aegis looking for a lane gank. When do you stop calling it a gank?
That's a good question. That's getting philosophical. I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like once everyone stops laning, right? But at this point,
Right.
15 and a half minutes in, we are very much still in the laning phase. It's been a slow burn so far in this one. So I'd call that a gank. I would call that a gank.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think I'd agree with you there. Still up ahead in terms of items right now. Titan up in that mythic. Whereas, yeah, B-Boy went for the boots initially here. So Titan up in strength there. Up 2 dragons to 0. And Pain, again, playing very respectfully. I love that you pointed that out because Red has been in full control of this game. But the gold lead wouldn't really have you thinking that, right? They've dotted their I's and crossed their T's, minded their P's and Q's and other letter-based metaphors here. But yeah, I'm excited to see once another fight does break out. You imagine it would probably be around that second Herald, right? At about 1:30. So we shall see. Rod of Ages completed as well for Wiser. So a couple more ticks in the boxes. I think they're just waiting, hoping to get B-Boy that Immortal Shield Bow. And then, yeah, let's all have some fun in the top river.
Let's have some fun in the top river. That sounds like fun to me, too. Sounds like fun to you, I'm sure. You know, you've been itching for a fight, I think, this whole game. There's been a couple, there's been smatterings of action, but no, it feels, again, I'm gonna go back to the kettle on the stove analogy. Like that's this game. It's gonna start screaming pretty soon. I'm looking at that dragon spawning in 2 minutes 40 seconds. It'll be soul point dragon for Red. I would think that's where Pain might decide to fight, but that's gonna be a great time to fight for Red. So it's gonna be a very interesting interesting proposition, and one that I think both these teams are going to want to answer.
Think about the cleaver rush here from Aegis, because it doesn't feel like it fits kind of thematically with the damage profile of his team, but is it just kind of a look for the stats for the money? It's just too good.
It's just a good item. It's like back when Vise were also rushing Chainsword. It's like the same reason. That's what Cleaver is. Cleaver is the new Chainsword. It's got CDR or ability haste. It's got damage. It's got HP. Like, it's just a bunch of stuff that you would like, and especially up against a Pain Gaming composition. I'm not going to say like it doesn't have a true tank, but it's beefy. Being able to shred through some of that armor, I think, just goes a long way for Titan's damage.
Yeah, and with Wiser going into the Rod of Ages, he's going to get that Seraphs eventually, right? He's not going to be a tanky Gragas. Not that we've seen that actually quite as much, or maybe I'm just biased kind of recent things I've saw, right? FNB yesterday in the series for Furia, it wasn't an amazing Gragas game by him. The casks weren't exactly where they needed to be, but once he got onto 4 items, he just went Death Cap, Void Staff. It was just too much. Pain actually able to get this second Herald here, so Red taking their foot off the gas a little bit here.
Red backed off and gave it to Pain. It was because I would have to guess that Wiser was first to the play. It was an overload on the top side from Pain, while Bull was still split pushing bottom. But I'm actually really surprised that they wouldn't TP Bull up there and try to full send for it. Again, maybe they're just prioritizing the dragon, but I mean, they're giving up a lot here. Mid tower might drop in favor of Red as well. Now the teleport comes out, they realize they have to go.
Ooh, Tidal Wave gets one. Bull in with the Proto Belt. He thought about it, but Wiser said no, no, no. Now Aegis goes in, and Wiser actually forced a flash out of the fight. Karaoke looking for a different angle here. Avenger doing the same.
So respectful.
Yeah, it's a 5-on-5 here where nobody wants to pull the trigger. The game in the balance right now. Pain do get that first tower with the Herald. Kind of force Red out of the shadows. Got a TP and a couple ultimates out of it.
Definitely the first moment of weakness of the game for Red. I really think they could have pulled the trigger there a lot sooner and a lot more confidently. They didn't want to dive straight into Pain Gaming. Now they get the flash off of Wiser, and not too much was invested. It was really just the teleport from Bull, so they should be able to come back out on the map and find themselves a nice fight. Every ultimate is available, however, for Pain, so tools for both teams. It's Red first into the river, Pain soon to answer. Who is going to get this one? This is the fight 4x4.
Red with no ultimates in their bottom lane. That tidal wave's so effective in these close corridors, or in these tight corridors, I should say. But like you said,
if they can play slow.
Wiser looking for something cheeky. Bull knows he's there, or at least you would like to think so. And I think Wiser recognized that Avenger in the back line.
Oh, it's so tense. You can tell Red's trying to buy time. They want Scamber's ultimate to come back up. It's about 5 seconds off of cooldown. Cage goes down, doesn't hit anyone. Aegis still leashing the dragon. It's going to be a flip for the Drake, but the fight is what matters.
Cask out. Drake secured there by Pain Gaming. Bull in. That tidal wave is back up off cooldown. Dinketo buys his team some time with the stopwatch. B-Boy trying to get the damage down here. In with the double cyclone is Aegis, but he's not able to get far. Karaoke, excuse me, not able to get far back enough. Now Titan going forward, but is it too deep? He gets one, but at what cost? Scammer taken out of the fight. Bull not able to make anything happen after that ultimate, and Avenger can't do enough, can't clean it up. Titan too deep, too quick. Pain come out on top.
Pain gets everything, and they slam Red into the ground. The engage was okay from Red. They're able to one-shot Dinketo, but that really went sideways once Titan went so deep for the kill on Karaoke.
Yeah, and again, just you don't have your flash either, right? You're not once you get there around that bush, if you want to flash out of that fight, and if you overcommit, that's one thing, right? But it felt like, as we get a pause here, it felt a little bit almost like B-Boy greeting in with the Zeri to try to get Scamber last game. Let's check it out here, because like you said, the initial engage was all right.
Yeah, it was okay. You know, Bull ideally gets multiple, but still finding Dinketo, getting the stopwatch, they're able to one-shot the Veigar. It looks good. And from this position, the fight is okay. They get Karaoke low. The problem is, as you said, two things. B-Boy is just chaining the lightning through Red and doing so much damage in this fight. And then also Titan, yeah, that was a little bit of a Jackie Love moment, buddy.
Yeah, he saw that Karaoke was like, look, if I can E and then get that double auto from my passive off, yeah, he probably goes down. But Karaoke just hide on bush, right? He just went into safety, and the rest of his team was able to cover for him and bail him out. And on the other side, like you said, B-Boy on this Zeri just completely untouched. We're seeing these moments of weakness, the mid-game falling apart a little bit after what had been a really, really promising first 10 or 15 minutes from Red. Look, Pain is not out of the woods just yet, and they do have the Avenger on Kassadin threat, right? I think people tend to overemphasize how goes, level 16 Kassadin, the game's over. No. Like, you still gotta set it up, right? And with the competition with no true tank, you saw how fickle, shall we say, these engages and these setups can be for Red.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Avenger did do a lot of damage. They're definitely not out if they don't get ahead, right? Like, again, their composition, it's one that wants to fight around this stage of the game, but it's not like the end-all be-all. It's not like the Lee Sin RA comp, right? Like, they definitely have scaling options, but I mean, that was their moment. Like, that felt like the best time of the game to find a fight, when you're 1-2 items on Lucian, you're 1-2 items on Kennen, you're 1-2 items on Vi. Like, man, that is some great spikes, and to not be able to win it like that just feels really tough, because again, Pain has such a rock solid and difficult to break composition. If the engage was just okay in that one, Red is going to need to start to find brilliant engages if they want a hope in breaking through.
What do you make of the rapid fire cannon second on Titan?
Oh, it's very good. So rapid fire cannon on Lucian with first. Oh, Dean Kano.
Whoa, baby, went right over the baby cage, and here comes Karaoke. They did not expect that. Double TPs here. This is not where we expected the game to be blown open, but Bull not able to get a ton on the stun, but it doesn't matter. Scamber followed up with the tidal wave. Avenger looking for the cleanup, but the damage is too much. He didn't have the Rift Walk available just yet, and the cast might have just swung the fight for Pain Gaming. Dinketo mops it up. Said, thank you very much, fat man. I will take that, Gragas. Double kill for the Veigar, and it is falling apart for Red.
Yeah, it is. That's going to be a Baron for Pain as well, with 2 kills coming on the board. Aegis is alive. Maybe he can look for a steal, but man, what a collapse that was. I mean, Pain just so coordinated, and Red went just a little too deep on the chase. Titan and Aegis, they're going to try to say something about this, but I don't think they've got a chance. It's just got to be a flip on the Baron.
Now it looks, oh man, he's gonna get stunned
Titan,
up.
what are we doing?
That is just too much. The primordial burst, not enough. The Q, most cleans up Titan, but he's off this. Like you said, Aegis has the smite, and they're just not even gonna let him get into the pit, not risking it at all with the advantage they have. Why would you? Avenger is level 15, but so is Wiser. They got nothing left here. Hawk, this feels like the exact same point in the game where the exact same thing happened, and you started off okay here.
Truly, it did. I mean, Red, I like the idea, right? It's like, okay, let's get a pick on a side lane. They get the flash off of Dinketo. Great start. But I think it's Avenger that just dives a little too deep, trying to run down Karaoke. He sees the tidal wave hit and wants to go, but no one can really follow you. And then Wiser, with just a beautiful cask, splits up the fight. And, I mean, from that point on, it's all clean up for Pain Gaming.
That was a heck of a cask. That
It
swung
was.
it.
It was.
Right.
That was.
I mean,
That makes up for the awful solo kill that Weiser gave up in the lane, I think.
man, and gosh, the gold lead was at nothing or at 1,000, and after the fight and the Baron and the tower they were able to take off it,
hasn't it?
my goodness, you could say that again. 5,000 in the blink of an eye.
And I mean, Red, they were in such a good position. I loved the way they played their early game. They got themselves some nice advantages, but I really do think around that second Herald, they were too respectful. And then when the chips were down, they've tried to make these plays, but Pain, they've been too stalwart. They haven't allowed Red to have a good window to really find a backbreaking advantage. And they've allowed Red to make a few micro mistakes in the team fights and take it a mile off of them.
Sign of a good team, man. Right? Like you said, you give them an inch, you got to take
hottest
a
team
mile.
in Brazil. You said it yourself, right? Like, I mean, we're so high on Pain coming in. And I mean, Red, they were the only team to beat Pain twice in the regular season. They had Pain's number. Pain still picked them. And they are looking like they had a damn good reason to.
And look at what they're getting off this. Man, and these were the kind of advantages in the mid game when Pain took Baron after Baron after Baron, it seemed like, in game 1, that they weren't able to really get these backbreaking advantages. But this is a different story right now.
And I want to pull up a stat as well. Pain Gaming not only has Red had their number in the regular season, but they've had them historically.
Yeah.
Pain Gaming has never beaten the Red Canids in a playoff series ever. They are well on their way to doing that. I mean, they are rocking and rolling through game number 2, and the way the series has gone, Red is looking like they're a bit behind right now. So Pain potentially going to look to make organizational history if they're able to pull through, and that just goes to show how much this team has leveled up over the course of Split 1 here in 2023 4x4.
And it's just remarkable. It really is remarkable because, I mean, your mistakes matter more when you are Pain Gaming. You are the biggest, most historic team in Brazil. You've been there. Yeah. You've done that. You've had rosters of so many shapes and sizes, right? It's like INTZ right now. The fact that they have missed playoffs 4 splits in a row since being the world's representatives in 2020. Since then, they haven't made playoffs, and that and the INTZ fans are just up in arms, right? It is crisis time, and Pain Gaming, 2 splits in a row, 3-7 to start out, and then they roll to first place finishes, doing well in the playoffs so far, right? This game isn't over, this series isn't over, but the mental from these Pain Gaming players. There's an Inside the Rift, this documentary that Pain released, that I wish
you should watch. By the way, if you've not, I need to check it out still, but I've heard it's very good. So
yeah, exactly. No, everyone is like, oh my goodness, this is unbelievable. And it makes you want to root for these guys, right? And I look, not that RMC or any other Pain fan needed more reason to root for these guys, but
we know RMC is resident Pain super fan, so.
No, exactly. But look, hats off to all these players, right? I mean, and they on the verge. Yes.
Could you just say that Pain is our true scaling team in CBLOL? Not only are they the ones that are willing to play a slower, more controlled game, they also scale their way through the split by starting slow and then really, really breaking things open.
Yeah, I think you could absolutely say that. And it just looks so like. And I think that the metaphor even extends further because it's like they play this, scaling style. Yes, right, like you said, but it just looks like, no, it's not like Pain has to beat the other teams. Pain's just kind of sitting there, and it's like, no, you have to beat us, right? That has been, oh, mercy.
Yeah.
Oh, Wade is in trouble here, able to get out here. The cast might have saved him there from Weiser. But look, let's pump the brakes a little bit because look, this is undoubtedly the hottest team in Brazil right now. But there's another team that's going to play tomorrow against Los Grandes that is sitting there probably saying, we have a 6-game win streak coming into playoffs as well. We are oh man, perfect time. We don't
perfect timing. Yeah, thanks CBLOL production right there. I mean, and Loud is definitely a team that, as you're saying, they could make some noise maybe.
Yeah, and if you want to talk about a team that might be the have the chops and the style to take down Pain Gaming, right? How do you disrupt a late game scaling team, cause chaos in the early game? Loud have the tools to do that, and it's been. Yeah. Look, last split, that was the kryptonite, right? And so,
hey, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves yet, right? Pain still got to close this one out cleanly. The last game was not exactly clean. This one, they're trying their hardest, and there's still going to be another one. I mean, Red, they got better in this game for sure.
Yeah.
And whether or not they win or lose, they clearly had an adjustment. So if they can make just one more adjustment, maybe they can start turning out some W's and forcing Pain to the brink. With Baron spawning just about now, this is going to be the moment where Red, you're probably going to have to draw the line in the sand. You got to find your fight, but Aegis just getting picked off.
Oh, man. With that Radiant Virtue, that's giving him a lot of durability.
Already
Aftershock as well. Yeah. He goes over the wall. Pain, start up this Baron. Looks like they want to fight, though. Out goes the culling, able to sidestep the baby cage. Aegis goes in. Avenger goes out. Titan laying down the damage with the LDR. It's actually enough here. Avenger going to get credit for the kill. He has to flash away. Baby cage buying space. Avenger buying time. Aegis can't do anything. Avenger's in the backline. He's running down damage. Titan's still alive here. Throws down the ignite. Now B-Boy. Avenger gets the kill he was looking for, but B-Boy chases him out. It's a fight on two fronts. It is warped in the direction of Pain. They've got a numbers disadvantage, but the strength advantage here. Titan has his flash, but they're just too big. 2 for 1. Red come out on top in this one.
Wow, I thought Aegis was dead to rights with no flash, but between the Aftershock and the Radiant Virtue, actually able to survive and get out. Pain, it was a nice turn, but didn't quite have the damage. Good fight from Red to keep this game alive.
Radiant Virtue's so nasty, man.
Strong is a very strong item, yeah.
It's so silly. I mean, the amount of healing, just in my own games, right? Radiant Virtue, Sejuani, Zac, Vi, right? I'll mouse over and see, healing done, and it's coming up on like 5 digits.
Yeah.
You're like, what
it's
the
strong.
It's not Moonstone, is it? What the heck are we doing?
Yeah, and some Radiant Virtue champs have even started building things like Redemption and stuff, which gets even crazier, but either way, Red actually opting not to contest for this dragon. They were probably expecting this game not to go another 10 minutes, so they instead are shadowing towards topside on the Baron. Look at Bull on the side. He could find a big flank.
Yeah, he's got it. He's level 16 as well, trying to make sure that this fight is locked in here. And Titan actually going to get karaoke. Red finding the cracks in Pain's armor. Cass goes out. B-Boy actually able to get Titan from nowhere. Weiser looking for the re-engage here. B-Boy is all in. There goes finally the ultimate from Bull. I'm surprised he hasn't used it yet. Pain able to take advantage of a miscoordinated fight from Red. B-Boy is completely untouched. Weiser bought so much time, and Red come out, or excuse me, Pain able to flip that one, and they're going to get their just rewards.
They're just going to look to end the game. They don't quite have a wave, but they're posturing for it. It's a TP back to the base from Bull, and man, that is a feels bad fight for Red, because I really liked their position that they had. They had Bull on the side. They got to pick on Karaoke, but unfortunately, as soon as Titan got picked off, all the damage was pretty much gone, and now they're on the verge of losing the game.
Scamber is the icing on the cake here. 1 inhib down, going to take that bot inhib for the second time here. So again, a cautious end to the game here. I would love to see a replay of that fight, because the ult coming out so late from Bull there.
Yeah, I mean, Bull was in a really good position. It was just really difficult. Red clearly not quite sure when they wanted to pull the trigger. And yeah, it was just, whether it was discoordination or what, something went wrong. And the big thing was Titan going down early. That is not what you want to see from your star AD carry. And now it's Pain. They're picking up. So they have Dragon Soul Point, 2 inhibitors down. The inhibitors on the opposite side from the Baron, no less. It's going to force Red to be consistently answering these waves. I would expect Pain to go back on the Baron, force this, and turn off of it to fight Red and end the game. But we can take another look at this one. I mean, Karaoke in super deep, cordoned off by the entirety of the Red Canids. And again, this is what I'm talking about. A good position. Bull could come flying over this wall with Avenger and really look to do some damage. But look at that engage on the Titan from Weiser.
Yeah, and I guess Bull
turned the fight.
Oh, and Bull didn't have the flash, I think, up until the very end of that fight. Maybe with that plus Proto Belt, you find the good angle, but that was a desperation ult there at the end. Yeah, like you said,
it was an attempt to salvage something, but they didn't have no damage left. I mean, this cannon's not strong enough to one-shot everybody.
No.
Here it is, right? They're on the Baron. This is exactly what we wanted. They're just going to try to look to turn off of Aegis. The worst thing you could do is flip it. Either go and kill the jungler or take the Baron, use it to end the game.
Well, that's exactly what they're going to do. Aegis, he knows a losing fight when he sees one. He's got nothing to do there. There goes the second Baron of the game for Pain Gaming. They've got those 3 Hextech souls. Like you said, it's Dragon Soul Point, so another card up your sleeve if you're Pain Gaming. That's going to feel really good on B-Boy. Again, kind of an unsung carry in this one. Avenger getting things done on the opposite side of the map here, making sure that they've got a few ways possible to play through here. Titan with the calling, actually able to get the flash out of Karaoke. There goes the flash, a lot of CC, but not enough.
Avenger in the back.
Used by Skander. Here goes Avenger. He TP'd into the fight here. They're a little scattered.
So messy.
They can buy some time here, maybe. There goes the Shirelia, speeding everybody up. Aegis, we got to make something happen. Bull's got the ultimate. He's got nothing, though. They jump on him immediately.
Oh no, Red! They TP Avenger into the back. They try to get it and help him, but they just turn around onto Bull. A Nexus turret just died to the minions. Avenger's desperately trying to base. 4x4, it's all falling apart for Red.
Oh man, they got nothing. It's all falling. I'm not just gonna sit here and say the same things you said, because you hit the nail right on the head. Now it is desperation time here. How the heck did that minion wave get up there? On the bot side, Avenger, I guess he proxied that wave down bot to try to make something happen, but with the super minions able to push up here. All cards on the table now. Dinketo gets ulted there by Vi, but it's not enough. 2 kills for him with the stopwatch, with the Banshee's Veil, able to just outlast that. Baby Cage down. And it was a sloppy end of the game for Red. 2-0 for Pain. They're feeling a little better about that one. Dinketo smiling after this one. Unlike the last one, the job is not done, but it looks like Pain have Red's number.